Wings of the forest, exploring wild birds. The forest awakens before dawn. As darkness retreats between the trees, a symphony begins, tentative chirps evolving into cascading melodies that herald the arrival of morning. This is the world of wild forest birds, creatures whose vibrant plumage, intricate behaviors, and ecological importance make them among nature's most captivating inhabitants. From the dense canopy to the shadowy understory, these winged residents occupy every vertical layer of the woodland, each species perfectly adapted to its ecological niche. The forest as avian habitat. Forests represent some of Earth's most biodiverse ecosystems, and birds play an indispensable role in maintaining their health and vitality. Unlike open grasslands or wetlands, forests offer a complex three-dimensional habitat structure. The canopy layer, often stretching hundreds of feet above ground, provides feeding grounds for insectivores and frugivores. The midstory offers nesting sites and foraging opportunities for countless species, while the understory and forest floor host ground-dwelling birds that scratch through leaf litter in search of invertebrates. This vertical stratification means that a single acre of mature forest might support dozens of bird species, each occupying its preferred elevation and microhabitat. Woodpeckers excavate cavities in dead or dying trees, creating homes not only for themselves, but for secondary cavity nesters like nuthatches, chickadees, and small owls. Warblers flit through the outer branches, gleaning insects from leaves. Thrushes hop along the forest floor, their keen eyes detecting the subtle movements of earthworms and beetles. The type of forest matters tremendously. Temperate deciduous forests host different avian communities than coniferous forests or tropical rainforests. In North American deciduous woodlands, migrants like tanagers and thrushes arrive each spring from Central and South America, timing their journeys to coincide with the explosive emergence of caterpillars and other insects. Meanwhile, year-round residents like chickadees and woodpeckers have evolved strategies to survive harsh winters when insects become scarce. Masters of adaptation. Forest birds exhibit remarkable adaptations that reflect millions of years of evolutionary refinement. Consider the woodpecker, whose entire anatomy is designed for a singular purpose: excavating wood. Its skull features specialized shock-absorbing tissues that protect the brain from repeated impacts. Its stiff tail feathers act as a brace, allowing it to maintain vertical positions on tree trunks. Its chisel-like bill and elongated, barbed tongue enable it to extract insects from deep within wood. Owls represent another masterclass in adaptation. These nocturnal predators possess asymmetrical ear openings that allow them to pinpoint prey location with astonishing accuracy, even in complete darkness. Their specialized feathers feature soft, fringed edges that break up turbulent air, enabling silent flight. This stealth, combined with excellent low-light vision, makes owls supremely effective hunters of forest rodents and other small mammals. Many forest birds display remarkable vocal abilities. The hermit thrush, considered by many to possess the most beautiful song of any North American bird, produces flute-like notes that echo through the woodland. These songs serve multiple purposes: defending territory, attracting mates, and maintaining pair bonds. Some species, like the brown thrasher, have repertoires exceeding 1,000 different song types, demonstrating cognitive abilities that rival those of primates. Coloration in forest birds often reflects their lifestyle and habitat preferences. Species that forage in the canopy frequently display bright colors. The scarlet tanager's brilliant red plumage or the Baltimore oriole's vivid orange stands out against green foliage. These bright colors function in mate attraction and species recognition. Conversely, ground-dwelling species like thrushes and towhees typically wear brown or mottled plumage that provides camouflage among fallen leaves and dappled shadows. Ecological roles and relationships. Birds serve as keystones in forest ecosystems, performing services that ripple through entire ecological communities. As predators, they control insect populations that might otherwise devastate trees. A single pair of chickadees can remove thousands of caterpillars, aphids, and other herbivorous insects from their territory during the breeding season. This predation pressure helps maintain balance between plants and their consumers. Seed dispersal represents another critical ecological service. Thrushes, waxwings, and other frugivorous birds consume berries and fruits, then distribute seeds across vast distances through their droppings. Many forest plants have evolved specifically to attract avian dispersers, producing nutritious fruits timed to bird migrations. The relationship between birds and berry-producing plants exemplifies coevolution, where two groups of organisms shape each other's evolutionary trajectories. Woodpeckers function as ecosystem engineers, creating cavities that become essential real estate for numerous forest creatures. Studies have documented over 80 different species using abandoned woodpecker holes, including other birds, small mammals, reptiles, amphibians, and insects. Without woodpeckers, cavity availability would decline dramatically, affecting entire communities of secondary cavity nesters. Hummingbirds, though typically associated with gardens and meadows, include forest-dwelling species that serve as pollinators for woodland wildflowers. Their long bills and hovering ability allow them to access nectar from tubular flowers that other pollinators cannot reach. In tropical forests, hummingbird diversity explodes, with dozens of species partitioning floral resources based on bill length, foraging behavior, and territorial aggression. Migration, epic journeys through the forests. Many forest birds undertake extraordinary migrations, traveling thousands of miles between breeding and wintering grounds. These journeys rank among nature's most impressive feats of endurance and navigation. A tiny blackpoll warbler, weighing less than half an ounce, flies nonstop over the Atlantic Ocean from the northeastern United States to South America. A journey exceeding 1,800 miles accomplished in approximately 72 hours. Migration timing is crucial. Birds must arrive on breeding grounds when food becomes abundant, but not so late that prime nesting territories have been claimed. They must depart before weather deteriorates and food sources collapse. Climate change is disrupting these finely tuned schedules, causing mismatches between bird arrival and peak insect emergence in some regions. During migration, forests serve as critical stopover sites where birds refuel. A warbler crossing the Gulf of Mexico arrives exhausted, having depleted most of its fat reserves. It needs intact forest habitat with abundant insects to replenish energy stores before continuing northward. Fragmentation and loss of these stopover sites threatens migratory populations, even if breeding and wintering habitats remain intact. Challenges and conservation. Despite their adaptability, forest birds face mounting pressures. Habitat loss ranks as the primary threat. Globally, forests are being cleared for agriculture, logging, and development at alarming rates. When continuous forest is fragmented into isolated patches, bird populations suffer. Small forest fragments support fewer species, experience higher rates of nest predation, and become vulnerable to invasive species. Edge effects particularly impact forest interior specialists, birds that require large tracts of undisturbed woodland. Species like the wood thrush and ovenbird avoid forest edges, where nest predation rates from crows, jays, and cowbirds increase dramatically. As forests become more fragmented, edge habitat expands at the expense of interior habitat, squeezing out these sensitive species. Climate change presents another significant challenge. As temperatures warm, the ranges of many forest bird species are shifting northward and upward in elevation. Some species are adapting by adjusting migration timing or breeding earlier in spring. However, not all species can adapt quickly enough. Birds with specialized habitat requirements or limited dispersal abilities face particular risks. Invasive species complicate conservation efforts. The brown-headed cowbird, which expanded its range following European settlement, parasitizes the nests of forest songbirds. Female cowbirds lay eggs in other birds' nests, leaving host parents to raise cowbird chicks at the expense of their own offspring. In heavily fragmented landscapes, cowbird parasitism can devastate local songbird populations. Window collisions kill hundreds of millions of birds annually in North America alone. Forest migrants navigating unfamiliar urban landscapes collide with reflective glass that appears invisible or reflects trees and sky. Free-roaming domestic cats kill billions of birds each year, with forest edge species particularly vulnerable. Conservation success stories. Despite these challenges, conservation efforts have achieved remarkable successes. The wild turkey, once extirpated from much of its historic range, has been restored through careful management and reintroduction programs. These large forest birds now thrive across North America, demonstrating that with sufficient habitat and protection, populations can recover. Forest preservation and restoration projects create and maintain critical bird habitat. Organizations and government agencies have protected millions of acres of forest land, ensuring that breeding, migration, and wintering habitat remains available. Reforestation initiatives help reconnect fragmented landscapes, creating corridors that allow birds to move between habitat patches. Citizen science programs like eBird and the Christmas bird count engage millions of people in monitoring bird populations. This collective effort generates enormous datasets that help scientists track population trends, identify conservation priorities, and measure the effectiveness of management actions. Anyone with binoculars can contribute meaningful data to ornithological research. Observing forest birds. Connecting with wild birds requires patience, observation skills, and understanding of bird behavior. Early morning offers the best opportunities when birds are most vocal and active. Moving slowly and quietly increases the chances of encountering wary species. Learning bird songs and calls helps locate and identify species hidden in dense foliage. Different seasons offer different experiences. Spring migration brings waves of colorful warblers, tanagers, and orioles northward. Summer features breeding activity, with parents frantically gathering food for nestlings. Fall migration sees massive movements of hawks, sparrows, and blackbirds. Winter concentrates resident species around reliable food sources, making them easier to observe. Binoculars transform the experience, revealing field marks invisible to the naked eye. A field guide helps identify unfamiliar species and understand their ecology. Many birders keep life lists, recording every species they've encountered, adding a collecting element that motivates continued exploration. The forest symphony. Beyond their ecological importance and aesthetic beauty, forest birds offer something intangible but essential: connection to the natural world. In an increasingly urbanized society, stepping into the forest and hearing the songs of thrushes and warblers provides perspective and peace. These moments of connection remind us that we share the planet with countless other species, each pursuing their own survival and reproduction in ways both similar to and fundamentally different from our own. The dawn chorus, when dozens of species sing simultaneously at first light, represents one of nature's most spectacular phenomena. This cacophony serves practical purposes, establishing territories, attracting mates, maintaining pair bonds, but it also creates something transcendent. Standing in a forest as the sky brightens and birds begin their daily chorus connects us to rhythms and patterns far older than human civilization. Conclusion. Wild forest birds represent evolutionary success stories, ecological linchpins, and sources of wonder. From the smallest kinglet to the largest turkey, each species fills a unique niche in the intricate web of forest life. Their songs enliven woodlands, their colors captivate observers, and their behaviors reveal the complexity of natural selection. Protecting these species and their habitats requires ongoing commitment. It demands preserving large tracts of intact forest, managing landscapes to minimize fragmentation, addressing climate change, and reducing threats like window collisions and predation by domestic cats. It also requires fostering appreciation and understanding, helping people recognize that birds are not merely decorative additions to the landscape, but essential components of functioning ecosystems. The future of forest birds depends largely on choices we make today. Will we prioritize short-term economic gains over long-term ecological health? Will we recognize that forests teeming with birds provide services, pollination, seed dispersal, insect control, carbon storage, that benefit humanity in countless ways? Will we cultivate wonder and curiosity about the natural world in coming generations? These questions matter because forests without birds would be diminished places, quieter, less colorful, less vibrant. The wings of the forest carry not just individual birds from place to place, but genetic information shaped by millions of years of evolution, ecological knowledge encoded in behavior and anatomy, and the irreplaceable diversity that makes life on Earth so remarkably rich. Protecting and celebrating wild birds means protecting and celebrating the forests themselves, and ultimately, the intricate web of life that sustains us all.